Okay, folks, we are here yet again with another video review. Today, I'm in a 2022 Toyota Tundra. One of those vehicles I've been looking to get into to feel how it's like. Lot to love. A lot of things that I do prefer the smaller Tacoma trucks personally. But a lot of that style definitely carried into the new Tundra, and I like this Tundra a lot more than I did the older ones. So it's been out for a little bit now, and there's been a lot of videos done on it, but I did finally work my way to getting into one, and I definitely wanted to go over it. So yeah, that's what we're going to go over today. Well, thanks for joining us back here on techgooch for another video review. This again on another Toyota. This, the 2022 Tundra, like I said. And they bring a lot of really, really cool things into this one. A lot of electronics. I think they did a much, I would say, arguably a very good job, albeit not perfect job, to bringing in a lot of electronics, a lot of control into the truck. If you actually go through the dash here, which we're going to go through all the buttons and everything that's actually in this truck, and I'm going to show you all the stuff that goes on here, but we have a fairly large display actually. It is Apple CarPlay. I don't know if you can see from back there, but Apple CarPlay, and we'll go through that as well. Wireless, so that's a huge benefit for that. Anybody that does wired CarPlay anymore, I don't know why they would, but that said, wireless, fantastic. I really like the size of the screen. I'm looking forward to when they bring out the new version of CarPlay, how well they can actually adapt to using the size of this screen better than the current CarPlay version that they do, because it just scales up currently. And but aside from that, the thing that I think they failed on, and that is all these newer vehicles are bringing in the large displays like Tesla kind of came out with, right? Now we have this big screen. It's a touch screen. It's got a lot of capability. It even looks like a big tablet built into the truck. But we have more physical buttons on this truck than I even remember being on any vehicle I've ever owned. There is a ton of buttons and switch and toggles. It is crazy how many there are, yet I have a big display that I could actually utilize to get rid of some of these buttons. So I understand that they're building this truck for the type, and I don't like to stereotype people, but a good chunk of truck owners don't want everything being digital, right? They just don't want it. And I can understand that, but you are putting a gigantic screen in this truck. It screams to ask to reduce the amount of buttons and switches. To be as honest as I can about it, I got in this truck for the first couple days, and where's that button again? Oh, because they're all over. They're literally, I mean, obviously your steering wheel has a ton of buttons on it. I have a ton in the center console area. I have a ton down by my left knee. It is, and of course we have the upper stuff up here. Now everything's pretty much in the generalistic area that you're probably used to, but that is something to say that they did not utilize the touch display like they could have. Now, I personally do drive a Tesla now as my primary vehicle, so that's a complete opposite of what this vehicle is. That really doesn't have physical buttons other than the two that are on the steering wheel. Everything is done through the display. And at first, I really didn't know how much I was going to like that, and it was a little bit getting used to, but the majority of it, I actually love it. Now, there's a couple things that maybe it'd be nice to have a physical button for that specifically. I think they could have done a better job finding the balance between the two, because they didn't on this truck. They just didn't. Not to go too long-winded on this review, I don't want to go too crazy into it, but we have a digital display here for the actual driver information center. We actually have a heads-up display, so I can actually see my speed and stuff as I'm going, the direction I'm going, and of course how eco-friendly my driving is. This vehicle with the 3.5 V6 in it with the twin turbo, it's definitely more efficient than the old V8s. but it doesn't have the same instant pull. You have to wait for those turbos to kick in. I don't dislike it. I really don't. I think having a more efficient engine is only a benefit, and will make this truck way better in the long run. But that is something to say. Also, coming from where I'm coming from, so that's why I told you that I drive a Tesla currently. This is it's a full-size truck. It is a very large vehicle. It has a full 6-foot bed, has the large king cab on it. It is a large vehicle, and if you're looking for a large truck, this is something that I definitely would take a peek at because it's comfortable. It's got a lot of technology built into it, but also you don't have to know everything about all new modern technology to use it. But you can tell by the size of the vehicle, it's not a super efficient vehicle. It isn't. It really isn't. And of course, the window sticker shows that. And I'm actually going to show you that here in a second as well. So I do want to pull off here up here where we can do our standard, go through the driver's section here, go through all the buttons and everything, show you what the front seats look like, get in the back, show you what the back seats look like, and kind of do our normal rundown before we close it out. But in all, I think this is substantially better than the old Tundra. Not perfect. They definitely have a few things to work on. This does not have the hybrid powertrain in this specific model I'm driving. I would love to drive that to see what that sounds like or feels like in comparison. But that said, that's what this is. So let's take a peek at the front. Let's do our walk around outside first. Then we'll take a peek at the driver's section, take a look at the rear, show you the kid section or the back seat. We'll show you obviously when we do the rear, we'll look at the bed too. I actually have my bike back there so you can get a good idea how big this bed is, and then we'll close it out. So yeah, here we go. So I want to say real quick that it is a very windy day. It is hot, but it is windy. But here we are. This is the Toyota Tundra 1794 edition. I gotta tell you, when I first saw this vehicle at the auto show, I thought this is a fantastic looking vehicle. Really nice looks from the front here. I like the wheels. I like everything there's to say about it. Even like the 1794 edition emblem down here, pretty awesome. Good stylizing. I will say that this also does have ride adjust, so I can actually raise or lower this with the air suspension down there. Back here in the back, you can see I have my bike back there currently. Full-size bike and plenty of room with this big bed. Now, on the side of the tail light was actually a button where we can actually pop the tailgate down and then bring the step out. So I'll show you that here. And then we have easy access, jump on the step, jump up on top. Personally, I'm just saying personally, I actually like the step out of here than off the tailgate like Ford and GM do it. I'm not a big fan of that. Now I will say this, my brother did mention to this that the Ford tailgate you can actually kind of bump with your leg and it'll go up. This one you kind of got to bring all the way up, close yourself. I don't find that a big deal, but it is something to point out. So if you have your hands full, I can see how that's actually a bad thing. Of course, we have our full trailer hookups here and tow hitch. Bringing it around, all LED lighting. It looks fantastic, of course. And these are the big tow mirrors, and I'll show you this here in a second when we actually go to the inside. They slide out further than that too. So we'll finish at the end with the engine, but let's go into the inside and take a peek at the inside. Okay, so this one does have the floor running boards that do come out. You can turn that on and off right here, as you normally would think. So they don't automatically work for you, but right now you can hear them suck in. Oh, maybe not. Yep, there they go. All right, so let's start left to right. So first, let's start with the doors. You can take a peek at down here. Let's bring that down so we can actually see better. So our standard stuff here for the windows and the mirrors, nothing fancy there. This is where you can actually turn those, the auto folding mirrors on and off is right here, and also fold them. So if I hit the fold button, they'll fold in. If I'm gonna put them back all the way out, I'm gonna have them at auto. So whenever the vehicle's unlocked, they'll be out. Whenever it locks, they suck in. I like that a lot. So that's the A. All right, coming down here, we have a lot of buttons down here by the the knee area, right? Your standard beams, automatic start and stop when you're at traffic lights, things like that. This will stop automatically at a red light. You just kind of make sure you push in the brake pretty hard. Automatic high beams, trip, all that stuff. The flashers on the mirrors. This is the button to actually slide the mirror out. So if I click on that, so if I'm in max towing mode, essentially, I can look around my my big wide camper back there. I click the button again, and then she comes back in. So that's down there. Heated steering, AC plug in there as well. So that's that. Steering wheel, pretty standard. I'm not going to go through this because this is very basic anymore. Standard buttons up and down for the volume, or the volume up and down. I'm not a big fan of this one, to be honest. I'd rather have a scroll wheel or something like that, but I understand. Everything's a little different on every vehicle. The driver center up here, all digital now. Looks really good, looks really clean. I can use the steering wheel controls on the left side over here, sorry about that, to cycle through some things. I'm not going to go through this too much, but you can see there's a lot of information in here that you can go through, just like any normal Toyota stuff. I wish that this was more customizable. I'd like to see this where you could actually put your map up on here like you can on some of the nicer cars out there. I wish that they would do that. I really do. But this one, unfortunately, doesn't have that capability. Moving on, we have, ooh, look at that. Let's see if I can get that out of there. All right, I think I got that. All right, so right here we're looking at a 14-inch color touch display for us to do this. Now this obviously is my iPhone. If I go back to Toyota, this is the standard one. This is what I think you're going to see a lot more anymore, is if you want to actually use built-in navigation, you have to subscribe to it. Of course, I'm not subscribed to it, so I'm not going to see that. You can see, oh, this is what my wife was playing earlier when we were home. You can call. Of course, that's going to go back to my iPhone for that. Go to vehicles, trip information. We can go to settings and change any of the settings within here. Personal settings, Bluetooth settings. Let's go back here. General settings for the display and stuff. We can actually go into vehicle customization, door control. How do you want to unlock? Do you want to just do the what door, boarding and exit? You can change any of these things in here. It's normal, to be honest. If you have a touch screen now with Toyota vehicles, it's going to have a lot more. But the nice thing is that this is going to have more connectivity than anything else. So more capability. And then, of course, you can flop over to CarPlay. In this case is what I have connected. Moving on down, let's bring this up so we can see a little better. Climate control is all up here. We can sync between the two. Right now I brought the fan down so you can hear me better. Heated seats. We have ventilated seats, both sides, right? And each person can do their own. All your standard stuff here. This is your volume knob here. I do appreciate so much that they actually have a volume knob and the power button. It's very basic, but I do like knobs for that. We have our towing modes. We have our camera view. If we actually click on that, you can see the 360 view. If I'm actually driving, it brings up the camera for the bed, and I will show you that. If I go into drive mode and I click on view, you can see from here. But once I get to a certain speed, and I'll show you that here in a little bit, it'll just be the bed mode, which would be like this camera. Oh, not that one. Where am I at? I guess I'm not looking at the right one. Hey, there we go. Sucks when you have one hand on a camera, you're staring at the camera, and then of course you're also trying to do this. But you can see between the views here. And this is the one that kind of comes up when you're actually driving, just for the information that is needed or most pertinent. Coming back down here, traction control. This is your ride height. So we have where we can change the ride height. If I click over here, let me bring it over here. So this is up or down, right? And if I bring it over here, you can see the little green guy. It says N right now. That's in normal mode. If I go down with it, it's going to go to low. And it'll take its time and slowly lower, or I'm going to bring it back to N and hit up high. It's actually going to raise the back end up. And I can actually show you that here a little bit, but it's really slow. If you actually are in normal mode, from normal to low, it's about an inch. You're going to lose about an inch. It's going to drop the back end about an inch. If you go from normal to high, it raises it about 1.5 inches, give or take. So about 2.5 inches worth of difference in ride height. You can also do it manually. as well and do it all manually yourself. So you put it in manual mode, then you hold the upper or down, and I'm gonna go back to auto mode personally. All right, moving our way back down further, parking brake, shifting knobs. We can shift from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive. Drive modes. If we actually click on drive mode, so right now there's tow haul or drive mode. Right now we're on drive mode, and I can use this knob, and this knob will actually allow me to select which drive mode I want to choose. Now, of course, it's also showing up here on the screen every time I switch comfort mode to eco mode. So that's down here. The last thing I'm going to show down here, other than the cup holders, which are housing my sunglasses, is the Qi charger. This Qi charger is about the same Qi charger I think Toyota's been using for so many years. It does not work with MagSafe cases. You can use it with the MagSafe iPhone, but if you have a MagSafe case, it will not charge your phone. Just so you know, I don't understand what they're doing, what they're using, but Toyota, you got to get on top of this. I mean, this is ridiculous. This Qi charger should be replaced. It's either ancient technology or whatever. It is a 2022. You shouldn't be running into that issue. Personally, that's what I think. Center console. We have a small little, almost unusable space here, to be honest about it. Very, very small stuff. We do have a slide access to get down here to our USB-A, USB-C, or we can actually click up here and lift the whole thing and get into this big old area, right? It's not super huge, but it is fairly decently sized. We do have coin trays here, which are all built in, so that's nice. I do like that. But that, I guess we should show the glove box. You can see it's full of good Toyota stuff right now. And then the seats, you can see for ventilated seats, they are nice. This specific interior is very bright. I'll give it that. And then I guess up top, let's see if I can bring that back down. We do have our shade as well as our actual roof itself. We can actually open if we so deem fit. And then also, the one thing that I'm really happy they brought over from the 4Runner is the full window slide down. That's one of my favorite things from the 4Runner personally. So yeah, and then mood lighting. So. That's all up top. Let's head to the back seat. Okay, as I open it, I have that automatically coming out currently, but you can see here, I have the back seat back for me to drive, which is pretty much almost all the way back. The size of the cab is huge, right? Plenty of space. Back here is where we have that 110 outlet. We also have our USB-A, USB-C. I also am not a big fan of these doors, like I am on any vehicle. Heated seats on both sides, ventilated seats on both sides. We do have a vent back here that they can control, but they can't control the climate. Not that that's a big deal. But other than that, you can see that big panoramic roof there. Fantastic. Quick and easy, just push button lights, LED. I do like that. Pretty standard, pretty simple. But big back seat. I gotta give them credits for the big back seat. Okay, let's pop the hood. The nice thing is it has on gas shocks. And well, the battery's towards the back, although it actually is very easy to access. I like having batteries that are very easy to access. This is a little bit further back than I'm used to, but it's still easy to access, to be honest. I will say that when it would come time to change the battery, might be a little bit harder just because you're going to be lifting over the side all the way back here in the corner. Then you can't lift as high, obviously, with the hood right there. But fluid checks and things like that, it's like any big hooded truck. It's up there a little bit, but that is that. Dipstick's a little far back. You kind of have to reach that from the driver's side, basically. But there it is. Okay, so that's the engine compartment. So it's been another day since I did the majority of the video there, and I had a bike ride and stuff and kind of got late, but at least it gave me another day to think about this specific truck and what I think about it and where I think it fits. So first of all, this is the 1794 edition Crewmax big truck. It is a big truck. Now, the 1794, I always wondered why. Well, it turns out that I guess it's because the Toyota plant sits on an old cattle ranch near San Antonio that was actually founded in 1794. Kind of cool. I actually like that they integrate that into the Tundra because it makes sense. This is kind of that ranch style truck. That's how I see it, at least. And I think it fits very well. And I love the aesthetics of the 1794 because, like, you even get in here on the dash the wood grain with the 1794 edition branded in there. All in all, I think they did a really good job. They brought a lot of great things from what this truck should have used to have, right? Brake controller, which I don't know if I showed that before, but it is down here. Brake controller. Big thing that is needed, and of course I just dropped my phone. But I did want to just end up here in the vehicle, kind of just me and the camera, and I like the truck. I really do. The things that I think they did very good on, integrating things that they needed to integrate. Number one. Number two is the feeling of being in a fairly modern vehicle. This is a new design for 2022, and it feels a lot more modern than the older Tundra did. Another thing is efficiency. We're in that day and age. Efficiency is king. If you can give me as much power as possible but make it more efficient, that's always a big plus. And they seem to have actually hit that pretty well. I think that they could do better. But Toyota typically doesn't lead in the truck realm, at least, in efficiency, right? The Tacoma never really led in efficiency so much, and the Tundra really hasn't either. But that said, it's solid efficiency with reliability. That's the big thing that Toyota brings to the market that some of the other ones just don't have the same reliability and, well, longevity factor that this truck is going to have. The one thing, like I've said, I don't like how many buttons are on the dash. They have this big touchscreen that is just asking to be utilized more. And they chose instead to put as many buttons on the dash as humanly possible. I don't know how you could fit more buttons on the dash. I mean, in all reality, look at this. How many buttons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. That's just right here. And then we have more down here. And then we have more down here. I'm sorry, Toyota, but you needed to use less buttons. And I think what they could have easily done is changed over some of the stuff that's not utilized as much or something that's going to use the screen anyway. Get it on the screen, right? It just keep a small menu all the way at the bottom. I hate to point to Tesla as the one because they kind of go in the opposite direction, right? Everything's on the screen. Find that delicate balance. You could really declutter this because it would make things a lot easier to find and a lot easier to use, in my opinion. I understand that people like buttons, not that many. So, thank you for watching to the end. I thoroughly enjoyed driving this truck. I really, really, really wanted to get into it, and so I'm happy I was able to get into it for this last week. And unfortunately, my days have come to the end. Tomorrow I get changed out with a different one. Can't wait to show you what that one is. But with that said, thank you for watching to the end. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and clicking the bell if you can for me. I'd always appreciate it. And let me know if you in the comments what you think of this. Now, of course, my time has been with the Crewmax version of the 1794 edition Tundra. I love the color. I like the interior. Has definitely grown on me. I'm usually not a lighter interior. I'm kind of a tan or a gray or a black. Usually not this brighter, not really white, I guess, cream interior. But it has definitely grown on me. It's bright, I'll give it that. So again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on Tech Gooch for another future video review. We'll see you soon.